EA seems like it's completely done with Dragon Age The Veilguard. I mean, from stopping all production on it, saying they're absolutely not going to have DLC, that was really early on. Now they are once again restructuring that team and scattering them to the winds of different parts of EA and BioWare. But quietly, they have laid off several members, very key writers, which are the best ones, of course. But on top of this, the shills that were shilling for it have suddenly changed their minds about what they support, because now Mass Effect seems to be their most favorite thing. What's up, everybody? It's JayViper. We're going to get to all those little details and pretty much dunk on the competition as they backpedal, because this is absolutely glorious. We said it was coming, and here it is. And we're going to get to it right after you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
JayViper is awesome. He's so good looking. He's got the crowd in awe.
Let's start over here at the trustworthy That Part place. BioWare gutted and restructured after Dragon Age The Veilguard failure. The studio tries to assure longtime fans as Mass Effect becomes their primary focus. Mass Effect was a big question when Veilguard released because we knew how bad it was. The question is it going to cost them so much money that they can't continue? Mass Effect, of course, a much bigger IP than Veilguard. This is their cash cow on the BioWare side of things. They have to go all in, and they're going to. So the fallout from Dragon Age The Veilguard's catastrophic failure continues, with BioWare now undergoing massive restructuring that all but confirms the studio is being slashed to the bone. Of course, we also had a rumor a couple weeks ago, maybe 1 week ago, where we heard that Smash JT and Endymion were talking about the Edmonton office may close. I mean, it's getting down to skeleton crew. It's only a matter of time, I think, for they just close that office down and move those people somewhere else to just, if they're going to support Veilguard in any way, to do it somewhere else completely. Because, I mean, having a brick and mortar place open that you're paying for that's, what, 10% staffed at this point? I mean, that's just throwing money away. I wonder when that leases up. In a post on BioWare's official blog, studio general manager Gary McKay announced that the company is shifting its focus entirely to the next Mass Effect game, effectively sidelining Dragon Age after the latest installment's disastrous reception. And here's a little excerpt from that. Today, we're turning towards the future and preparing for the next chapter in BioWare's story. I mean, right now, it's pretty bad time in their story. Redemption arc? Mass Effect 5? Let's see. McKay wrote, as we announced in August 2023, we're changing how we build games to meet the needs of our upcoming projects and hold ourselves to the highest quality standards. Translation, Dragon Age The Veilguard failed so bad that BioWare's entire structure is being dismantled. What I'm a little worried about is like changing how we build games. Now, we know live service is a huge, huge thing. One thing that people have pointed out, and I think is very interesting, is they keep calling Mass Effect 5 Mass Effect. Just Mass Effect, the next Mass Effect game. I do wonder if it's just going to be Mass Effect, the live service. I'm hoping that's not the case, but remember, when they were first building Dragon Age The Veilguard, before it was The Veilguard, that's what it was going to be, was a live service game. And of course, it changed to the Dreadwolf, and then it changed to The Veilguard. So, just a little quick history. I wonder if they regret the change or not. And, I mean, the people behind it, of course, were clueless. I mean, the writers were awful, and, of course, the fighting was terrible. McKay confirmed that the core team at BioWare is now dedicated to developing the next Mass Effect game under the leadership of veterans from the original trilogy, specifically naming, we got Mike Gamble, Preston Watamaniak, sorry if I butchered that one, Derek Watts, and Parrish Lay. While framed as a reassuring statement for fans, it's also heavily implies that the team behind The Veilguard is out, which of course, that's what we want to hear. We know Corin Bush was just let go, or he left on his own merit, which, you know, again, I went over this in a previous video. I don't think he left on his own merit. He was pushed out, and rightfully so. I mean, you have no business making RPGs, bro, especially not ones of a AAA standard. I mean, get the fuck out of here. EA's financial nightmare. This is what I want to talk about. Prior to Veilguard's launch, the internal projections saw there would be 10 million copies in its life cycle. Now, of course, that doesn't mean on release. That means in an entire life cycle. That's a huge overestimation. I mean, 100% once you looked at the game. Maybe when you're starting to make it, you're thinking, oh, you know, Inquisition, it sold so well over its life cycle. that, I think we can do 10 because what Inquisition did around 12 over many, many years. So that's not crazy to think, but once you see your product, you have to be like, whoa, I mean, this isn't going to do well. And again, it engaged 1.5 million players by the end of 2024. Now, they thought it would be closer to 3 million. That is 50% of what they thought. And again, I want to put this again, 1.5 million players. That is not copies sold, my friends. Remember, EA Origins has the Pro Plus situation going on. Those count as players. This is not units, okay? That's an important distinction to take out of this when we're talking about subscription services that are involved, because they count those as players, not units. And again, I think a lot of people played that way. When I played my 1 month of Veilguard, which was just horrendous, that's how I played. I wasn't going to pay full money for that game, but of course, people wanted to stream it and have fun with it for what we could, which was mostly making fun of how bad it was. Of course, I wasn't going to pay $70 for that. Get the hell out of here. I paid $18 for 1 month. Now, they go on talking about the DEI experiment failing and how basically identity politics at the expense of quality storytelling and gameplay. That is absolutely what happened here. If anyone watched any of this game, okay, the actual gameplay and the story, I mean, the thing was just rife with identity politics. It was pretty much made like that from the ground up when it came to the storytelling. And the actual gameplay itself was so far removed from previous Dragon Ages that it was like, this is a different game entirely. It doesn't matter if the world is, the Dragon Age world. The game was such a far separation from the originals, and people can say, Dragon Age was always woke. Dragon Age was not woke. Dragon Age had elements of LGBT in it or whatever, but it wasn't like the entire identity of the game. The entire identity of Veilguard was that. Of course, when we look at our game director and Corin Bush, of course, he had everything to do with that. And like that Park Place points out, that leads to failure. People are mostly just not interested. I mean, you have the modern audience that are interested, but as we all know, the modern audience, they don't buy games. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the layoffs. I pointed this out right away when IGN posted this. More BioWare employees have been laid off as they reduced the size of the Veilguard team for the second time in 2 months. Other employees have been moved to other projects. Okay, now the layoffs, again, the announcement from EA, and of course, all the headlines from the shill media didn't really talk about layoffs. But inside the actual article, right here, it says a smaller number of Dragon Age team members are also seeing their roles terminated. They're getting ousted. Now, they're being offered some time to apply to other roles within the company. But as we saw, like BioWare Edmonton, they closed every single role opening. There is no job available in Edmonton. So these people that are in Edmonton have no roles for them in Edmonton. If they want to work somewhere else, unless they can work remote, they're pretty much out of a job, right? They're done. They're going to have to go find somewhere else to work. But again, depending where they are with Mass Effect 5 or Mass Effect, whatever they're going to call it, we'll see how many job openings they are as they've moved people around. Now, speaking of layoffs, Smash JT, shout out to him, he went on PDF Sky, and I feel bad for him, but layoffs confirmed via Blue Sky personal accounts. Instead of officially mentioning them in the restructuring blog post today, this is what I was talking about, apparently trying to avoid a bad rep. Now, here we go. This is Anne Lemay. This is my favorite one. No hard feelings against Anne here, but I was a writer at BioWare for 5 years. I leaned a lot, great writing, learned a lot during that time from exceptional folks in many disciplines, but also specifically from my fellow writers and our amazing editors on both the Mass Effect and DA brands. Today, not a single one of those writers and editors remains employed there. I just want to say that is an incredible thing to hear. That's absolutely what should happen. Dragon Age The Veilguard, top to bottom writing, fucking horrible. You saw it. I saw it. You can't deny how bad that was. This is an RPG. RPGs are absolutely based on how intriguing the story is. You want to get into it. You want to just become a part of it. but this game pulled you out constantly from horrible writing and acting. I mean, this game was a disaster, beginning to end. And I don't know what these editors are doing. What was your job? You did a bad job. The fact that all of them are gone, I think, gives Mass Effect the best chance. That doesn't mean Mass Effect's going to be good. Trust me, there's plenty that can still go wrong and may have already gone wrong with that. But yeah. And then we got Trick Weeks over here. Now, Weeks has worked there for a very long time. We're talking about 20 years at BioWare. This is someone I believe wrote Tally. I mean, this is a character writer. Now, obviously, Trick fell off. Okay, Trick fell off and didn't do a very good job with Veilguard. So, I mean, is this a loss? Is this someone who got kind of mind virused? Or were they made to do a bad job because they didn't believe in what they were doing anymore? Hard to tell. But again, that whole team needs to get blown out and go somewhere else. And I think, again, it's time to move on. We also have Carrie. BioWare didn't officially put out that they laid off employees, which honestly is sad. And that is a bunch of bullcrap, of course. I understand not wanting bad rep and such. It's just dishonest to me. I found out from seeing staff posts they are gone after many years of working there. But this is interesting to me, right? Where, yeah, EA wasn't really upfront about this. It was very quiet. And this is after they talked about layoffs before. So it's just really interesting to me that they would do that and not be upfront about it. And the big thing is when you have the publications talking about it, you would think you'd see layoffs in the headline, you know, somewhere in the headline, but it's not there. They're just talking about restructuring. And we got Karen West Weeks, who is now out. This is an editor looking for an editor role. Again, stay away from my games. Please be gone. Now, we all love Nure, and this is something that I noticed too, but it is funny to see her say the same thing. People have no spine. Now that BioWare is cutting ties with the Veilguard disaster, the usual suspects are jumping ship, also known as the Shills. You can't shill for a company for months. Ignore every piece of criticism, and not just ignore, but push back. Man, did they ever. And then, once you can't bury your head in the sand any longer, flip sides. That's not how it works. Now, if anyone remembers Unifade Walker,
Top surgery scars are also included in this for all of our trans and non-binary rooks out there. I absolutely was blown away by this.
yeah, so now the person who built their entire online personality around Dragon Age, well, now her actual favorite game is Mass Effect 2. All right, so we see that she's moving on to Mass Effect. She's dumping Veilguard. She's even started uploading Mass Effect stuff. Now we've got Kayla Elizabeth, who ran to Blue Sky, and of course, you know, has to come back to just try to say, ha ha, Mass Effect 5 is still happening. Okay, so again, I want Mass Effect 5 to happen. I want it to happen the right way and not look like Veilguard. Now, we'll see what happens, but of course, she's in the shill mode already for Mass Effect 5. I believe in the team behind it and can't wait to see what they're working on. This is a person who shilled so hard for Dragon Age, and that, as we all know, was a big pile of poop. Another post that she recently had is how I don't know how I could possibly continue uploading Dragon Age stuff. Wah, because I'm so sad. No, it's because you know no one cares about it. No one cares about it. You shilled for it as hard as you could. No one cares about it. So now it's time to shift focus to something someone actually cares about. Mass Effect, people care about. What I find interesting about all this is the fact that they are whittling away BioWare Edmonton. There's not many people there. I don't think BioWare Edmonton is long for this world. I mean, it's only a matter of time before EA just cuts it down. I mean, that is the Veilguard studio. And they aren't producing Veilguard anymore. I don't even know what the people there are working on. So I don't know how long we have for BioWare Edmonton. It doesn't seem like there's all that many people working there. It's just a matter of time before it gets closed down completely and EA just moves on from Dragon Age. What I wonder is when the next Dragon Age will be, if at all. I mean, we're talking about it's 2025, folks. If they do decide to make another one, we're talking 2030 and beyond. It's going to be a ways, and that is if they don't just sell off the IP entirely, which honestly I would like to see. But then at the same time, who's going to pick it up and what's that going to look like? So I think we've seen our last real Dragon Age and Inquisition, and then we have this imposter. They came in and ruined the IP in Veilguard, and from there, I just don't know where it's going to go from here. But bad things are in store for Edmonton. I mean, come on, BioWare Edmonton cannot last. There's no reason for it. It is redundant unless they give it a completely another project. But then again, why would you give that team anything to work on instead of just getting rid of them entirely? Because that's what I would do. That would be the right business decision. Anyway, that's all I have for this, everybody. If you haven't already, do me a huge favor. Please like the video, follow the channel, and hit that notification bell so I can see you on the next one. I'm out of here. Love you, and peace. Bye, everybody.